There are plenty of ways of experiencing Niagara Falls, but which ones are worth it and which ones should you avoid? Let's find out. Hey guys, Huang Fam here, and having just come back from Niagara Falls, I thought I would share my experiences with these various activities so that you know what's worth it and what isn't.
Do I look amazing?
So with each of these locations, I'm gonna rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 with 3 different factors. The first one, the view. How well can you see the falls? The second one, immersiveness. How immersed are you with the falls at these locations? Oh my goodness, this is insane. And the third one, how worth is this spot overall? There are 3 main waterfalls that make up the collective Niagara Falls. The smallest being Bridal Veil Falls, then American Falls, and then the most iconic Horseshoe Falls. First off, we're gonna start off with one of the most iconic attractions, the Maid of the Mist and the Hornblower. These are the iconic boats that go to the base of Horseshoe Falls. The Maid of the Mist is the iconic sightseeing boat tour that has been in operation since 1846, and this is the boat that services the American side. The Hornblower has been in operation since 2014 and is the boat that services the Canadian side. Both boats essentially do the same thing, however they just do them from their respective sides of the border. The easiest way to spot and differentiate the two is the iconic ponchos. The Maid of the Mist having blue ponchos and the Hornblower having red ponchos. Since they're basically the same thing, for the sake of this I'm going to refer to both as the Maid of the Mist, as that one is the more iconic boat service. Ready for the boat?
Woo! I'm ready, here we go!
The Maid of the Mist tour brings you out on a ferry and takes you by the American and Bridal Veil Falls briefly while making its way to Horseshoe Falls, where you will be pelted by the mist and water pouring over the falls.
Where is the falls? I can't see!
The boats do have indoor areas, so the degree of being drenched is up to you. You can choose to stay inside where it is dry, or you can go to the outside of the boat where you will feel the raw power of Horseshoe Falls as the mist rains down all around you. Alright, let's rate this. First off, the view. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 because the view itself is very iconic and it pretty much is the only thing that allows you to get to the base of Horseshoe Falls like this. Next, immersiveness, and I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 as well because this really does feel very immersive as the boat brings you very close to the falls. You really feel the power of the falls while being surrounded by the falls.
I can't see!
It's pretty cool. And lastly, overall worth. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10, 8s across the board. This excursion is very worth it, and if you haven't done it before, I would highly recommend it. And even if you have done it before, I think it's something that's worth going on again because it's just such a unique experience to the Niagara Falls area.
There we go. Wait, so there's the Maid of the Mist. What are we again? The Hangover?
Moving along the Canadian side to experience the falls, we have Journey Behind the Falls. This is an excursion that takes you literally alongside and behind Horseshoe Falls. This experience here takes you down into the tunnels that go through the bedrock next to the falls. And as you emerge out of the tunnel, you come out alongside Horseshoe Falls. This experience puts scale and perspective to a whole new level as you witness the water crashing down right in front of your eyes. In addition to the viewing platform, you can walk farther into the tunnels to witness Horseshoe Falls from behind. These alternate tunnels will allow you to hear and feel the roar of the falls from behind and offer a very unique perspective. Alright, let's rate this. First off, the view. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. I think the view itself is very unique. Being able to stand on the side of Horseshoe Falls and really get that perspective is really cool. Also, being able to see the waterfall from behind, even though through a small little tunnel window, is still really, really neat. Next, immersiveness. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. Overall, still a very immersive experience, but you don't get nearly as wet as you do with some of the other excursions. And from the viewing platform on the side, I even took my poncho off at one point and I was fine. And lastly, overall worth for Journey Behind the Falls, I'm gonna say is a 6 out of 10 because it's still a unique experience. It's cool to experience once, but I wouldn't do it again. Next, the third place we have, which is high up on the Canadian side, the Skylon Tower. This tower is very iconic on the skyline along Niagara Falls and provides a high up 360-degree view of the falls. This tower also has a revolving restaurant which offers a unique dining experience, and you can get a great view of the fireworks from this tower at night. Alright, let's rate this. The view I'm gonna give a 5 out of 10 because the view itself, while being very beautiful and being able to see the whole falls area from high up above, is not quite unique because you can get the same view from the hotels if you have a high enough room, or basically just from viewing the falls from the ledge on the Canadian side, just albeit a bit lower. Immersiveness, I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 10 because you're not really immersed in the falls at all. It's more just a viewing platform that you're viewing from pretty far away. Overall worth, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10 because it's not the most unique way to experience Niagara Falls. If you have the time or if you want a revolving dining experience, then it's worth checking out, but I would say that if you only have time for 1 or 2 excursions, then there's other ones that should be on your list. The fourth entry on our list is on the American side. The Cave of the Winds is the American equivalent to the Journey Behind the Falls on the Canadian side, but with one major difference. You get drenched. It is pouring with mist. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm drenched. So let me clarify. Like the Maid of the Mist, you can somewhat choose to what degree you want to get wet. The excursion takes you along a wooden platform as you wind your way around the base of the falls. Some of the parts take you extremely close to the falls, and the final part brings you to what they call the hurricane deck. The deck itself is optional, but should you choose to go onto it, you will be completely drenched with cold water as you are standing directly underneath Bridal Veil Falls. It is quite the experience. After this, you might need to... The path itself does get quite wet even if you aren't going on the hurricane deck, so plan accordingly, bring the right shoes, and I would advise wearing shorts, not pants, because my pants got drenched. My pants, I could probably wring out like 2 gallons of water. On a side note, a cool thing about this deck is the whole entire thing gets taken down for the winter and then rebuilt in the spring. Alright, let's rate this. So first off, the view. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 because the view is pretty cool, being able to see Bridal Veil Falls and the American Falls from up close, but then again, you're so close to it that it's not the most spectacular view because you're viewing it very close from the base. Next, we have immersiveness, and I'm gonna give this an 11 out of 10 because you really can't get more immersed than this. Having the water from the falls pour down on top of you like this is pretty much as immersed as it gets. And lastly, overall worth, I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10. While this isn't the best view of the falls, it is one of the most unique ways to really experience the power of the falls, and I don't think there's any other experience that's quite like this one. Alright, what do you think?
It was amazing, I'm drenched.
Now, fifth on our list is the Niagara Falls Observation Tower, which is on the American side. This tower gives you roughly a 270-degree view of the surrounding area, including the falls. The falls are on one side of the tower, with the American Falls being the closest, so the view of Horseshoe Falls is quite far. On the other side of the tower, you do get to see Rainbow Bridge, which is the bridge that connects the US and Canadian sides of the border. Alright, let's rate this. First off, the view. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10 as it's not really the most stunning view of Niagara Falls. Like, you can see everything. It's a bit farther away from the main parts of the falls, and it's not the most stunning view. However, it is panoramic, so if you're into panoramas, this is a great spot to do it. So next we have immersiveness, and I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10 because you're really not very immersed in the falls. It's more, again, just a viewing platform. And lastly, overall experience, I'm gonna say a 4 out of 10 because there really are better ways to experience the falls. Apparently David was too scared to look down, so there we go. Alright, so the sixth way of experiencing the falls is from the sky. There are several helicopter tours that operate around Niagara Falls, and this brings your vantage point to the sky as you fly over the falls, giving you a very unique top-down view of the falls. And that's basically it. You're flying over the falls. Alright, let's rate this. The view, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 because it is very unique being able to see the falls from up above and having that top-down view, and you really can't get that anywhere else. Immersiveness, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10 because you're not really immersed in the falls at all, but you are getting a helicopter experience, so that's kind of cool. And lastly, overall worth, I'm gonna say a 5 out of 10. This is a unique way of viewing the falls, but not really experiencing it. I would say if you're really into photography or you really want to get on a helicopter, then check this out. Otherwise, I think some of the other experiences are more worth it. Alright, so this isn't all of the attractions to view the falls. There's a Ferris wheel, a zip line, and the newly opened power plant tunnel, but I highlighted some of the ones that I think are the most worth it in my opinion. To conclude, if you only had time to do one experience, then on the Canadian side, I would say it would be the Hornblower. And then on the American side, I would say the Cave of the Winds. Both of these give you the most unique experience, allowing you to get really close to the falls and experience the power of Niagara Falls. That being said, if you don't want to get wet or you want a more casual experience, then the observation towers may be for you. But overall, I think the #1 experience is the Cave of the Winds if you have the time to go to that, because it's not like any other experience there. There are still plenty of non-waterfall related things to do in Niagara Falls, and if you're interested, let me know and hopefully I'll be able to make a guide for it. If you have any other suggestions or comments on things to do in the area or ways to experience the falls, then let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.